We're going to do this one quick. I already looked at it on my channel. I did like a little bit of a deep dive into this whole situation, so we don't have to go super in depth on it. For those of you who don't know, it's Papa God channel. So I'm going to give you the rundown. Just get your perspective on this whole thing. So you know who Lil Tay is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's only 16. It's wild. Anyway, Lil Tay is a 16-year-old, and how do you describe her? She's basically just been like a meme. She's been a social media. She's like the kid that walks around pretending that she's got lots of bags and blah, blah, blah. You probably know who Lil Tay is. She's like she's just a weird performer. I feel like she was too young to ever be popular. I feel like mom and dad, one or both, or whoever had custody, should not have really let her do social media. That's just my opinion. I feel like especially I think she started when she was like maybe 9. I'm not even going to look it up, but it was a few years ago. So she was young, maybe not that young. I don't know. But she started when she was a kid. Like, she looks like a baby walking around. Your kid shouldn't be doing that. Whenever she started, we'll just look it up. I'm gonna look it up. I'm not gonna be that lazy. When did Lil Tay go viral? Mid 2018. What's the math? 5 years ago. She was like 11. Okay. Yeah. So she was young. She shouldn't really got viral. She went viral. Blah blah blah. She was just basically like, "Oh, what's up? I'm Lil Tay." Recently, I don't know if you're aware of this, within the last maybe month or so, she did a controversy where somebody hacked their account and faked her death. Did you hear about that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure, this is my speculation, that it was like her and her PR team decided to do a fake death thing and then say, no, it's not real, so they could promote something. I predicted this, and now she has a music video that came out like yesterday. So, in my opinion, it was just to get hype around her name because she disappeared for a while, and then she released a music video, and people were like, "Oh my God, Lil Tay's back!" And then, of course, she releases this, and it's like an expose of her father that exposes him for being sexually inappropriate and neglectful and abusive. And there's a few different things when it comes to the inappropriate sexual stuff. It was she was so indirect, but to me, it came off as like he would let her watch R-rated movies. She would say inappropriate movies, but like, I need an explicit, this was Playboy. That's inappropriate. It's one thing to watch like an explicit movie that centralizes around that theme. Very inappropriate. It's another thing to be like a kid and like you're in the room for an R-rated movie, bro. Like, I don't care. I told this story before. I remember 1999, I was 9 years old. American Pie came out. At some point around there, I watched the American Pie movie with my mom, mostly just a silly little adult comedy, nothing too crazy. And then I said, "Mom, I like this movie a lot. Can I watch this alone in my room?" My mother said yes, and of course my aunt was there, and she's like, "You know what he wants to do?" My mom said, "He's a boy. He's a young boy. Let him do his thing." And I watched. I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed. There's a particular scene that all of you are thinking of that I really, really enjoyed. I mean, it was my favorite scene. It was the dude fucking the pie, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Blah! That was my favorite part, of course. Sorry, nah, you know what part I was watching, but I don't really care. I think it's perfectly fine. But
You're so ridiculous.
Anyway, there was that. There was like one instance she talked about how they were all on her couch or on her bed, I guess probably watching something, and they thought she was asleep and they started like kissing or something. She was so indirect that, like, in my opinion, when people are being super indirect about a topic, it's because they know that if they were explicit about exactly what happened, that people wouldn't believe them. So instead of being like, "Yeah, my dad had me watch rated R movies," or he would let me watch rated R movies and that was inappropriate, which sure, whatever. She's like, "Yeah, it was really sexually inappropriate. He would have me watch adult themed movies." And it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Say it was porn or say that it wasn't. Like, that's, you know what I mean? There was one, the only thing that to me had water into it was that they were potentially abusive to her. And like the one girl that her dad married was like abusive and would like hit her, and that's like, okay, that's really bad, right? So explore that legally and in the court, and but I also think that even if everything's true, she shouldn't be expressing this publicly. I don't care about the dad. I think that this is another instance of content creators not exerting social media boundaries, and I think that there's nothing sacred in this girl's life.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, that's how I feel about this entire situation. I feel like that's the shittiest part. There's nothing in her life that's ever going to be sacred in some capacity. What do you? How do you feel about that? Somebody asked us to talk about that. BBQ asked us. She wanted your perspective. That's why I wanted to do it.
I mean, honestly, I have no perspective or interest.
Yeah,
really.
well, that's fair. Okay, that's understandable. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think it's hard to, even when I was reviewing it myself, it's hard to care, which I know sounds mean, but when you have an entire scandal where you fake your death and you were, I mean, you're obviously probably involved in some capacity. I don't even know what's real and what's not real. Everything's a performance now. Everything is getting filtered through the lens of social media. I don't know if your dad could be a terrible guy. Frankly, I think both of her parents are probably shit because they let her, in some capacity, do content, which I think is fucking insane. At this age, it's like, dude, what? I don't think it's appropriate for a kid to be doing shit like this.
Yeah.
It's not good for her mental health more than anything else. If you're going to do it, you have to have such heavy boundaries, which I think are like they obviously didn't do. But it's hard to like care because there's a lot of her aspects of her life that are fake. We don't know what it is and is it real. I mean, she is one of the, I would argue, lingering base individuals on social media in some capacity that are like from the era of basically reality TV stars in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at people like Trisha Paytas or people like her or people who even like Woah Vicky. It's like their life is a reality TV show now that's not officially, curated by VH1. They're doing it themselves.
Yeah.
And so that's how I look at this. And that's unfortunately how she's in her whatever team and her parents allowed her to show herself. And now it's like, unfortunately, and I don't mean to say this harshly, but it's hard to look at her as like a person on the internet. It's more of like, this is a whole performance piece and we don't know what is and isn't true. And we don't even know what she does. I don't think she knows what is and isn't true. I think that her fucking brain is completely, unfortunately, warped. I feel bad for her,
Yeah, pretty much everything you said.
Yeah.
I think that kids like her and probably just kids in general with social media are having like a disservice. Yeah, it's just a disservice to engage. I think, I don't know. I don't have. I
know what you're. I don't know if you're expressing yourself. What you're saying is, if like you shouldn't be. It's a disservice to engage with her content because it keeps her popular and it pushes her into a very toxic space. Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's what you're trying. That's what I interpret.
No, but that's fine to say too. I'm just really, I'm like so invested in this, and I'm like,
uninvested?
What?
You're very uninvested in this.
Yeah, that's what I thought I said.
You said invested.
No, ahead, that's not what I meant. And I also like even the fact with the things she most recently are saying happened to her. I can't. I don't want to like.
Yeah, it's iffy territory that you don't even want to engage with. I understand that. I think it's perfectly understandable. Okay, well, that's it. Let's move on from this.